Hello, welcome to Monday. We're going to be trying something a little different today. I wanted to do a bit of a synopsis and kind of look at a little bit of the differences between Gekiranger and Jungle Fury. Gekiranger being the series that aired in Japan in 2007, and Jungle Fury being the series that premiered in America the following year. That is the mini-plug we will be looking at next Wednesday. We'll be starting to look at the Gekiranger Jungle Fury mini-plus stuff. So, I wanted to do something a little bit different this time, though. I wanted to talk about the series, give a synopsis of them, and so we can kind of see what the differences were between what we got here in the States and what was given to the audiences in Japan. I thought it would be kind of interesting. If you guys like it, let me know. Go ahead and leave a like, a comment, all that kind of stuff. Just let me know what you think. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe, and we're going to get into it in just a moment. Before we do, I want to say thank you very much for being here. I hope you had a great weekend. Now let's get started. So, the 31st season of Sentai was Juken Sentai Gekiranger. As I said, it did air in 2007. The American counterpart, the Power Ranger Jungle Fury, aired the following year, 2008. Now, normally, I like to just sit here, talk about toys, play video games, all that kind of stuff. But, like I said, we're going to be doing a synopsis overlay. I'm not going to get into an episodic review or any such thing. I just want to do an overall view of the series and some of the characters and maybe the story. So no super in-depth character assessments and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I play with toys here. Don't ask me to do work. So, I do want to cover one thing real quick before we get into it. For those of you who watched the American series and felt that the story kind of had issues, there was a reason for this. Back in 2008, there was a Writers Guild strike, meaning that the original writers of the series at one point were not writing. They had union breakers come in and do some writing, after which, as the strike ended, the original writers did come back in and had to try and piece together their original plot based on what the other writers left behind, and the direction that the newer writers came, the union breakers came in, and kind of changed the direction of the plot a little bit here and there. So that is why, if you watched the Jungle Fury series, it was kind of nutso. There was a reason for it, other than just being an American Power Ranger series. Anyways, let's get into Gekiranger right now. So let's begin with the translation for the show's title. Juken Sentai Gekiranger translates out to Beast Fist Squadron Fierce Spirit Ranger. That title is ridiculous, but it also holds a lot of what the series was in Japan. And part of the reason why I dubbed the toys that I'm looking at when I did on my Twitter, I actually did a little poll about who I wanted to look at next. Either the Gekirangers or what I did previously, which was the Gekirangers. And I called the Gekirangers the Kick-Ass Kitties. It was in part due to the title and what the overall theme of the show is. So, here's our synopsis. Thousands of years ago in China, there was a martial arts school based around mimicking the wild animals as well as attaining inner peace, dubbed the Beast Fist style. This martial arts school would eventually split, as the originators of the style, which were 10, developed differing feelings about how to enhance the Beast Fist style. We had 3 who would break away and would espouse the use of suffering and hatred within the human heart. And then you would have the other 7 who would oppose that ideal. The 3 who would use the suffering would become known as the Fist Demons, and the other 7 would seal them using a forbidden technique and become the Fist Sages. Now, a word of warning for the Japanese synopsis, I will be saying the word fist a lot. Everything uses the word fist in this show. Anyways, so we have Demon Fist, we have Fist Sages, we have the Beast Fist Squadron Fierce Spirit Rangers, right? Anyways, the followers of the Fist Sages would go on to form a new martial arts school, the Fierce Beast Fist Beast Arts Beast Fist of Justice School. I want to say that one more time because I'm only going to say that full title one more time. After that, that's it. The Fierce Beast Fist Beast Arts, the Beast Fist of Justice. That's it. I'm never saying that title again of that martial arts school because both times I worried that I was going to bite my tongue. Anyways, this martial arts school would teach Chi in a manner to benefit its learners and enhance their spirits as a form of sport, kind of, right? Even though they did actually teach, actual practitioners, but they would teach as a form of sport as well as a cover. In fact, as time went on, they would actually form a sporting goods company, SCRTC, or Scratch. And this is actually a fun fact that has nothing to do with the synopsis of the show. The company Scratch, SCRTC, does appear at times in the later Sentai series. Sometimes it's just as an Easter egg, as on a billboard or something in the background, and other times as more of a key figure in the world. In Tokyuger, we have someone who actually works at the company, and in Gekiranger, our Green Ranger, she's on a track team. Her track team, one of their sponsors, is SCRTC. And it's why on their track outfits, they actually have the Gekiranger's symbol, I believe, on their back. I didn't notice it when I watched a little bit of Gekiranger, and I only noticed it when I looked at pictures. Like, oh, that's... But yeah, so SCRTC does play roles in the future of Super Sentai, which... even though none of the series are ever really fully connected together, it seems that they always seem to inhabit the same world. Which is interesting to me. I've always found that kind of interesting when that kind of stuff happens. But yeah, so... anyways, let's get back to Gekiranger before I get off too far on tangent here. So, getting back on track. SCRTC Scratch, the sporting goods company, would actually be used as a front for the Gekirangers as the series progressed. Giving them a place to live, giving them their headquarters, all that kind of stuff, and I guess providing a life for them since they would be able to provide food and all that kind of stuff, Now, anyways, now that we talked about the followers of the Fist Sages, the Gekirangers and all that kind of stuff, real briefly, let's give a brief look at the followers of the Fist Demons. Their followers would practice the confrontational... Sorry, not confront... I always want to say confrontational. They would follow the confrontation Beast Fist Akuguta. I probably killed that word. A-K-U-G-A-T-A. Akugata. Akugata. There we go. This school would eventually be headed by a former member of the Sages School, Ryo. So, eventually, Ryo would begin to go about trying to rebuild the Confrontation Beast Hall and attempt world domination. Normal evildoer stuff, right? Oh, yeah. He also wants to collect all the Confrontation Key in the world so he can revive his fallen masters with this evil key. And hopefully become stronger in turn. So basically we have someone who left the Beast Fist school due to the fact that he wanted to be stronger and didn't feel like the Beast Fist school was giving him that chance, so he became a follower of the Demon Fists, thinking that they in turn would give him a chance to become stronger by any means necessary, right? So this ends up putting him, of course, in direct confrontation with two of Sage Shafu, who is one of the Beast Fist Sages, students. Ran Uzaki and Retsu Fukami, as well as a young man, Jan Kandu, who was raised by tigers. We're just going to pass that up. Anyways, these three would form the core of the Gekirangers as Geki Blue, Geki Yellow, and Geki Red, respectively. They would be later joined in the series by two other Rangers. Gao Fukami as Geki Violet, the older brother of Retsu. He actually disappeared before the beginning of the show when he went and tried to beat Ryo on his own. He failed and disappeared for 15 years, eventually returning and joining the Ranger team. He would suffer from... he tried to use the same sealing art that was used by the Fist Sages, and it would kind of like backfire and kind of turn him into a werewolf for a little while. he, he eventually confronts himself in a spiritual realm and, becomes Geki Violet as he wins over himself. I couldn't think of the word for some reason, but wins over himself. The fifth ranger would be Geki Chopper, or Ken Hitsatsu. He's a free-spirited martial arts prodigy and is missing at the beginning of the show. Not missing as in, they don't know where he is. He's left. He was actually supposed to have been a teammate alongside Ran and Retsu. But his Geki changer had become busted, and he ends up selling off his virtuous beast sword to get travel money, and ends up globe hopping before eventually returning to aid the team. As the show progressed, we would actually see Melee, who's a revived member of the Demon Fist clan, and second in command to Ryo, as well as Ryo, join the Gekiranger team. Both would eventually sacrifice themselves to save the Gekirangers. This sacrifice would also allow the Gekirangers to find the Confrontation Beast Hall and eventually reconnect the two styles upon defeating the Demon Fist teachers, bringing peace to the former feuding ideologies as well as the world. Another thing that the sacrifice of Melee and Ryo causes is the fact that Melee loves Ryo, which is part of why she follows him. She falls in love with him. Ryo does not allow himself to have that weakness, and so denies himself love. When they are both in the spiritual realm, Ryo finally realizes the truth of how he feels about Melee, who he kind of realizes when she sacrifices herself and dies in his arms, right? But in the spiritual realm, he allows himself to finally acknowledge this truth, and he and Melee are able to go off together, finally connecting in the way that Melee and Ryo both deserve. They finally found love. So, there you go. Gekirangers have won the day, and though they have lost some comrades, these comrades have managed to find a better chance for themselves as well in the afterlife. That was Gekiranger. It was a martial arts superhero drama about feuding schools, betrayal and redemption, and a guy raised by tigers. Yeah. A guy raised by tigers. I don't know why that's funny to me, but it is. So, what about the American version? What about Power Rangers Jungle Fury? Well, this too involves a martial arts school. But rather than a schism occurring way in the past causing disorder, the school is maintained for the last 10,000 years, guarding a spirit of pure evil, Dai Shi. This clan is called the Pai Juk, or the Order of the Claw, which is what I'm going to call them going forward because I'm pretty sure I killed Juk. The Grandmaster gives the 3 top students the task of guarding the spirit, Dai Shi. These students are Jared, Lily Chillman, and Theo Martin. Unfortunately, Jared is a bit of a jerk, and his actions towards another student, Casey Rhodes, causes him to be taken off guard duty and expelled from the Order. With that, Casey instead is given the task Jared once had. This does cause Jared to end up turning against the teachings of his school, killing the master, and releasing Dai Shi. The trio of Guardians is then given the task of finding a new master who would give them the ability to change into the Power Rangers. Tasked with stopping Jared with their new powers and his new subordinate Camille, as well as the evil spirit Dai Shi, this latest team of Rangers must save the world. Dai Shi would resurrect his followers in a bid to make the world to be ruled by animals. And as the show continues, the Rangers discover that they are unable to beat some of these Rinshi, as they are called, in both Japan and the US. And they would seek out new masters to learn new beast arts to enhance their abilities. They eventually would be joined by RJ, the Wolf Ranger, who is actually the son of one of the masters that taught Casey a new ability. Eventually, after the others try to steal... So eventually, the evil forces would try to steal the Rhino Steel powers, and a friend of RJ's, Dominic, would emerge as the new Rhino Ranger. So now we have a team of 5 Rangers, much like in Gekiranger. Jared would witness the betrayal of the Beast Generals against Camille and saves her from this betrayal by their former comrades. Though his shame at what he had done to the Order would prevent him from helping at first. Eventually, he and Camille do help, though, and they all manage to destroy Daishi permanently, saving the world. So that was a very brief synopsis of Gekiranger. Or not Gekiranger, of Jungle Fury. And there is a reason why I have this super brief synopsis. As I said, the writers would change back and forth, and Jungle Fury became a bit batshit crazy. I'm not sure what the story would have been like had the original writers been on for the full term, if it would have been a little more gelled together. But that is a very brief synopsis of Jungle Fury. RJ does have an issue where he turns into a werewolf. And it's explained in the show, and it's just dumb, honestly. He eventually comes to terms with the fact that his powers are different than his father's, who is a shark beast user, and it is due to the fact that RJ doesn't want to be like his father, but respects him, and all. It, like I said, just a little crazy. But that was Jungle Fury. So, much like Gekiranger, we do have a martial arts superhero drama. But it isn't so much about feuding schools as it is about what caused the schools to feud in Gekiranger. Misplaced ambition and a desire for power. So, whereas in Gekiranger, those two things fuel a separation of the school into 2 different schools, in Jungle Fury, it just causes the overall breakdown of what the school stood for. Now, as I said, there was a big back and forth, changes of writers, all that kind of stuff, and it kind of changed the feel of the show, and you can kind of see where the writers changed. Overall, though, there are many similarities for all the differences that the shows do possess. Both are about martial arts, and both deal with betrayal due to ambition and a misplaced sense of importance. Both have a theme of forgiveness, and in the case of Geki Violet and the Wolf Ranger, a journey to rediscover oneself. I think it is very interesting the way the US show adapted the martial arts theme of Beast Ranger, or of the Beast Fist, and tried to downplay the spiritual nature it was to value in Gekiranger. While at the same time, they did try to tap into the theme of self-awareness that the connection the Rangers had to the animals would represent. Because of the shift from the super spiritual nature of Gekiranger, well, at least more spiritual than Jungle Fury, we do miss out on the uses of Chi and Ki. And though it is an interesting idea to have a hidden martial arts school be the protector of some hidden evil spirit, this was a theme we would actually visit again in the future in 2011 with Power Rangers Samurai in part. And I think we kind of missed out by not doing a split school motif, which would be used in Power Rangers Samurai. No wonder I kind of like that series, right? They had the 2 parts of Gekiranger that I really enjoyed as part of the theme in Samurai. Anyways, another stark difference between the two is that the characters of Ryo and Melee and Jared Camille. In Gekiranger, we see that part of their redemption arc is in the act of self-sacrifice, of finally putting the good of all above what would satisfy your own desires. While in Jungle Fury, due in part to it being a US kids show, we don't see that theme. Instead, we get to see Jared mope and feel like he is unworthy to try and thwart the goals of his former comrades, till he in turn realizes that he should help alongside Camille in order to begin his repentance. I understand why they did this change. It's always hard in the US to allow death to happen in a kids show to humans. Which is why we have stuff like in the Ninja Turtles cartoon, a lot of times the Foot Clan is, aliens or robots. Or why in G.I. Joe, we never see anyone hit by a fucking laser, ever. They always miss, but everyone gets beaten somehow, right? But to make the former villain basically a mopey, depressed guy also ruins the impact of his change and his established character that we saw at the beginning of the series, where Jared was very driven. I think they kind of missed the mark on what they could have done with Jared, even if they didn't want to do a self-sacrifice. Anyways, overall, both shows are fun, although Jungle Fury is a bit nuts. Both are great martial arts dramas aimed at children. Neither did spectacularly well when aired, though. But depending on what you're looking for, if you decide to sit down and watch the series, you have a pretty decent choice. Personally, I think I would like to sit down and watch Gekiranger with my daughter at some point in the near future, as we actually sat down and watched Jungle Fury ages ago when it used to be on Netflix. And now that she's a young teen, I think she would enjoy Gekiranger more. Now, if you want to sit down with younger kids and are uncomfortable with having to maybe relate sacrifice and such to them, if they have questions about what happens in these shows, I would say go with Jungle Fury. Both will entertain and offer a romp through a zany martial arts adventure with superheroes, giant robots, and a happy ending as the finale. And that's my overall feeling on these shows. Neither one is fantastic, right? Neither one is a must-watch series. I really love the Zords and all that kind of stuff in Gekiranger, but they're not my favorite. I enjoyed watching Jungle Fury with my daughter when she was much younger. But I think she would get more out of Gekiranger now. I don't think that Jungle Fury, unless your kids really love animals, is a great place to start with Power Rangers. If you want a great introduction season, I would actually go with Operation Overdrive as your first season to sit down and watch with your kids. Operation Overdrive was one of the better seasons of Power Rangers, in my opinion. Anyways, with all that said, join me on Wednesday as I begin to review the mini-plot from the series, starting with the first three Rangers mecha. On Wednesday, we'll be starting to look at Gekio. So yeah, join me Wednesday. Thank you very much for hanging out with me today, and I hope you guys all had a great day. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's something that I was kind of curious about trying out, seeing how well it worked. And if you guys enjoyed it, like I said, let me know. If you didn't, let me know. Either which way, have a great day. I'll see you all guys on Wednesday. Bye.